Here we go. It is the 21st of the month already. Good morning. It's Thursday. This is WGTV Today, Wayne Goldsboro Television. Today, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning and thank you for being with us.
Oh yeah, what a lineup we have today. Kim, who's on today's program?
We do. We have a transportation video today that I believe you can tell us a little more about.
Well, I kind of sort of can. This is a project that our county commissioners have been working on in particular for a while, and it's very enlightening. And I was fortunate enough to be involved with this, and so I can't wait to see it. It's all put together now, and wait till you see this. It's pretty good. I'm looking forward to this.
Great. Then we also have Lee Hulse is here.
Oh,
She's with United Way. She's here to talk about some specific programs that are in the making right here in our community.
Good.
And then, of course, we have Sherry Archibald here to talk about happenings at the Paramount Theater.
All right. Things are happening at the Paramount.
Yes, always.
You know, that is such a great place.
It is, and you know, I've heard so many people say recently that it's a place that you can have young and old all in the same place at the same time and enjoy various different programs, and it's just a gathering place for our community. And if you have not been to the Paramount and enjoyed the beautiful facility we have in our community, you should put it on your list of things to do. Oh,
you really should. It's a beautiful place. It's really one of the finest theaters in the Southeast.
It is. We don't know quite how lucky we are to have something of this magnitude right here in Goldsboro.
You know, I remember when the North Carolina Symphony first came to our new facility, to the new Paramount Theater, and all we heard after their performance was, wow,
exactly,
this place is great. The acoustics are just amazing in the Paramount Theater. It's comfortable. It's everybody I've talked to that goes there or even performs there just absolutely loves the place. It's a great
fine facility.
It is that.
So check it out.
All right, and we'll look over today's almanac in the next segment. We'll also have a trivia question coming up a little later on this morning.
That's right. I do want to remind everybody, Wayne, there's something unusual that Goldsboro Parks and Recreation is partnering up with a local business. It's Easy Bait and Tackle. They're partnering.
Gary Bevel's place.
Gary Bevel's place. Gary and his crew have for years had a shad tournament.
Yes, they have.
Well, it's 8 or 10 years they've been doing it. Well, this year they partnered with Goldsboro Parks and Recreation to get the children in our community involved. So it's going to be a day of fun and fishing on Saturday, March 16th. And that's going to start early at 7 a.m. They're going to fish. I guess that's early. Is that not early to you? That's not early to Wayne.
It's okay.
7 a.m. on a Saturday morning till 4 p.m. They'll have all different kinds of prizes that they're giving to adult fishermen and youth fishermen.
All right.
It's, oh my goodness, first place, second place, third, and fourth. They'll have door prizes. It's $10 per person to be an angler and fish that day. If you want to find out, an angler, if you want to find out more about it, you can call.
One who angles.
919-736-2488, or you can call Goldsboro Parks and Recreation or visit their Facebook page or website to find out additional details. But mark your calendars, Saturday, March 16th.
I'll tell you, all kidding aside, I've known Gary Bevel many years, and this shad tournament is that's his baby.
That's his baby.
He loves putting this on. He loves children, first of all.
You can tell.
And he loves to put a fishing pole in a kid's hand and teach him how to fish. And he has just been supporting children's activities and supporting this shad tournament for so many years. It was his idea to come up with it years ago. And it's a great idea, and he loves to see children get involved with fishing.
And be happy.
And be happy, sure.
And making, it's a perfect opportunity to make memories with your children.
Yeah.
Some of my fondest memories is fishing with my dad in the Neuse River when I was a youth, my brother and I. You know, and that's just something that you'll remember forever, and it's just fond memories to look back on. So take your child out or your loved one or anybody. Just take a group and go have a good time.
You went fishing in the Neuse River?
In a boat.
Whoa.
In a boat in the Neuse River.
Oh, okay.
Or either on the bank.
Or on the bank?
Yes.
Okay.
Did it both ways and had a good time.
That is fun, though. All right, let's see what all's going on. What is going on?
Oh, there's all kinds of things happening. The Music Man will be at the Paramount Theater.
Oh, boy.
Coming soon.
Trouble in River City.
Well, the font's so small I can't see it, so hold on one second. Thursday, February the 28th, it'll be at the Paramount Theater. It'll go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Lots of shows to choose from. The Music Man is an old production that's been around for years and years, but it's so good.
I love it.
And if you went to the gala at the Paramount Theater, you saw a little tiny one song a showcase of what those children can do. And these are youth from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade that are local children right here in our community, homeschooled, public and private. And they work really hard, them and their families, to put on these shows.
That's exactly right. That's one of my favorites. I love the Music Man. Well, let's see.
What else is happening, Wayne?
I was going to look over today's almanac here very quickly for just a moment. Let's see. It was on this day in 1947. It was. You ever heard of the Polaroid land camera?
Yes.
Well, it was named. It was invented, in fact, by a fellow by the name of Edwin Land.
Okay.
He demonstrated it this day, and I didn't realize it was that far back. 1947.
Really?
The land camera, he demonstrated the Polaroid land camera, which could produce a black and white photograph in 60 seconds. And that was an amazing feat, because prior to that, you just couldn't do that. You had to take it to a developer and then maybe wait 3 or 4 days.
I remember when I saw that thing for the first time, and you snap that photo and it comes out, and you wait a few seconds, and then all of a sudden the picture appears.
It was an amazing.
Magic.
Yeah, it was magic. So anyway, he invented that and demonstrated it this day, 1947. It's been a long time ago. In 1964, a company in Great Britain exported 24,000 rolls of wallpaper to the U.S. And what was on that wallpaper?
What?
The Beatles.
Beatles,
Yeah,
my goodness,
1964, of course. 1970, it was only 6 years later that the Jackson 5 made their television debut on American Bandstand.
Did they get wallpaper as well?
No. But the funny thing is that, of course, Michael grew up.
Oh, yes.
And Paul got older, and then they joined, they had a business together, and it ended up, Michael acquired all of the Beatles songs. He ended up with ownership of those Beatles songs. And that just made him that much more wealthy.
I'm sure.
It did. And I don't know how Paul let go of all that stuff. Anyway, he did. And anyway, Donald Davis, this day, 1983, was the year when he set a world record. This is amazing. Don't try this at home. This is only for professionals. He set a world record at the University of Hawaii by running a mile backwards in 6 minutes and 7.1 seconds.
Backwards?
Backwards.
Who does that? He does?
Donald Davis.
I knew you were going to do that.
The year was 1993 when an 80-year-old man in Tel Aviv, an Israeli, refused. He absolutely said, no, I am not giving my wife a divorce. That's what he said. He was 80 years old now.
Okay.
Under Israeli law, both spouses must agree to a divorce. And one who refuses can be actually thrown in jail until he or she consents.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, well, this guy had been in prison for 31 years. Absolutely not. Okay. 1995, Chicago adventurer Steve Fawcett landed in Later, Saskatchewan, after becoming the first person to fly solo across the Pacific Ocean in a balloon. And you know, years later, he disappeared on a flight. And no, I don't think he was ever found.
Never heard anything about it.
No. Again, the year was 2000 when a Tehran taxi driver, Tehran, Iran, in Tehran, the city, the capital city, a taxi driver was so upset by tough traffic regulations that he went home and he put together took all his traffic tickets and made a hat. And
what did he do with the hat?
And he put it on. And he also made a dress, and he put that on. A little weird,
and what
but
was the point
they were made out of traffic tickets. Then he walked up and down the street.
Okay, there you go.
Walked up and down the street. He was, of course, arrested and charged with spreading lies. We are talking about Tehran. He was freed on bail. Nobody knows what happened to him after that. You know what I mean? Birthdays today include Jennifer Love Hewitt, Kelsey Grammer, William Peterson. If you don't know the name William Peterson, he is so good. Very talented actor. He's 59 today. Tyne Daly, another one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's on all kinds. He's on The Practice and different shows.
Yes, you do know William Peterson.
I do know him.
Yeah, he's very talented. And Tyne Daly of Cagney and Lacey fame is having another birthday. She is also such an accomplished actress. She was also on, what was the one where she played the judge's mother? Judging Amy.
Yes, you're exactly right.
And she did so many other things as well. She was in one of the, I think, The Enforcer with Clint Eastwood. Yeah. And that was one of her early efforts. And boy, she was good in that too. All right, who's next?
Let's see.
I'm all talked out.
Well, we want to remind you that the 2013 Life Lights for Children is taking place at Berkeley Mall. That is February the 28th at 7 o'clock p.m. right in the middle, the center part of Berkeley Mall. And that is basically a time to recognize and make us all aware of the child abuse that happens right here in our community, and to remember the lives that have been lost due to child abuse and neglect.
I have a lot of patience, but not with that. None.
Well, this is a time to really, think back on that and to try to talk about and prevent child abuse in our community.
Yes, indeed.
All right, well, let's go first to our transportation video to learn more about what's happening in our community.
Eastern North Carolina is known for many positive assets, including world-class beaches, mild winters, hardworking people, and a favorable tax structure. But what we need is an economic engine for Eastern North Carolina to make businesses and industries clamor to locate in our area. First, let's take a look at our current assets. The North Carolina Railroad is a 317-mile state-owned rail corridor extending from Morehead City to Charlotte. The railroad carries over 70 freight trains offered by the Norfolk Southern Railway and 8 passenger trains daily. 22 miles of track needs to be restored between Wallace and Castle Hayne to have a rail system running from Wilmington to Charlotte. This needs to be a top priority. The fact that 2 railroad companies, CSX and Norfolk Southern, intersect at Goldsboro is often overlooked. Progress has been made in the past few years on connecting highways in Wayne County and in eastern North Carolina, but we can't stop now. Interstate 795 connecting Goldsboro to Interstate 95, completion to Interstate 40 must be a top priority. U.S. Highway 70 upgrading to freeway status from I-795 to Morehead City, and now we need the completion of Kinston and Havelock bypasses as soon as possible. The North Carolina Global Trans Park, GTP, is a 2,500-acre industrial airport site situated strategically in eastern North Carolina. The GTP offers an ideal location for a variety of business types, especially companies involved in the aerospace sector and logistics. There are buildings and sites readily available. There is an airport and a rail connection to the Port of Morehead. It is a short distance to 2 major interstates, I-95 and I-40. And there are 5,775 acres permitted for development. The Port of Morehead is a vital and integral part of the future of eastern North Carolina. Morehead is one of the deepest ports on the U.S. East Coast and is located 4 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. A deep port is essential because this port has the attainable depth that is needed to accommodate larger ships. A unique tax credit is available to North Carolina port users. Access to Interstate 95 is available via U.S. Highway 70, as well as train service from Norfolk Southern. Investment in the Port of Morehead will literally and figuratively open new channels for new industries in eastern North Carolina. The Port of Wilmington is strategically located on the U.S. East Coast. Owned and operated by the North Carolina State Ports Authority, the Port of Wilmington offers terminal facilities serving container, bulk, and break bulk operations. Wilmington is one of the few South Atlantic ports with readily available berths and storage areas for containers and cargo. However, the rock bottom of the port limits the depth needed to accommodate larger ships. There is a proposed port for Brunswick County. The North Carolina International Terminal is a $2.2 billion port project planned for Brunswick County that would occupy 600 acres on the Cape Fear River just north of Southport. However, there is strong opposition to a new port at Southport and currently has been shelved. The rivers of eastern North Carolina, the Pamlico and the Neuse, as well as the Tar, Black, and Cape Fear rivers, all offer an abundant water source for development. Each area also offers a variety of recreational activities such as camping, fishing, boating, and swimming. Military bases bring prosperity to eastern North Carolina. We've benefited in many ways from their presence. This is the primary economic engine for our area. We must develop an additional economic engine to minimize the negative impact of a downsizing of military forecast for the near future. Now that we've looked at our current assets, let's form a vision of our future. In recent years, our area has lost political influence. We must realize the necessity of forming a coalition in order to gain the funding we need. We must unite and urge surrounding cities and counties to support Vision ENC 2030. With political influence, we can get things done, such as completing transportation improvements in eastern North Carolina to include rail, ports, and highways to provide the infrastructure necessary for Vision ENC 2030 to succeed. Expanding the port in Morehead. Developing an inland port in eastern North Carolina. Eastern North Carolina has a long and proud heritage with the presence of military installations in the region. These installations bring thousands of new personnel and defense contractors to the region. The defense industry encompasses 7% of North Carolina's statewide gross domestic product, GDP, and brings billions of dollars into the state annually. We need to improve and increase our roadway and rail system to enhance the ability of military travel in the eastern part of North Carolina. That is why we need to develop and promote the North Carolina Defense Logistics Initiative to military, business, and government leaders. Tourism is a top industry in North Carolina. We should create cruise terminals at Wilmington and/or Morehead ports to support tourism. Let's look at inland ports, linking freight and regional economic development. So, first, let's answer the question, what is an inland port? It's a physical site located away from traditional land, air, and coastal borders. The idea is to move the time-consuming sorting and processing of containers inland, away from congested seaports. An inland port could speed the flow of cargo between ships and major land transportation networks, which carry goods to the rest of the country. Let's look at the process. A ship arrives at port and containers are offloaded onto rail cars for immediate shipment to inland port. The inland port sorts and transfers to a specific rail or trucking company. Does this work? Does it increase the container market share? Well, let's look at neighboring states invested heavily in ports and inland ports. Virginia has the East Coast container market share of 12.39%. That's over 343,000 jobs, $13.5 billion income, $41.1 billion in revenue, and $1.2 billion in taxes. South Carolina has a 9.29% of the East Coast container market share. Georgia has an East Coast container market share of 18.74%, 352,000 jobs, $18.5 billion in income, $66.9 billion in revenue, and $2.5 billion in taxes. And North Carolina, well, we have an East Coast container market share of a dismal 1.78%. We have failed to reap the benefits because we were short-sighted and did not invest in our ports. Our ports and inland ports can bring hundreds of thousands of jobs, billions in economic production, and billions in tax revenue. North Carolina ports could easily improve their container volume by 1 million units. This additional volume would add at least 164,000 jobs. And if we handle 2 million containers, which are close to what Charleston, Savannah, and Norfolk handle today, then we too could be experiencing a $44 billion economic impact. This is not theory. It's already happening in our sister states. We touched briefly on the North Carolina Defense Logistic Initiative earlier, but let's focus a little more on what this initiative could do for our area. It could produce thousands of jobs for eastern North Carolina. It could improve the economy, improve the tax base, attract supporting industries and manufacturing firms. Let's look at some facts. The United States is expected to make $450 billion in cuts to the defense budget over the next decade. North Carolina is home to 118,083 troops. North Carolina bases are within 90 miles of both ports. North Carolina is ranked third with military personnel, but 29th in military contracts awarded. Those are 2010 figures. North Carolina can save the military millions of dollars where they ship military vehicles for repair and reconditioning. Well, what can be done? Let's look at the current situation. The Army and the Marines each have 2 repair depots, one on each coast. Marine ground vehicles from deployment are received via the port of Jacksonville, Florida, and shipped to Georgia for repair and reconditioning. They are then shipped to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Army ground vehicles from deployment are received via the port of Charleston, South Carolina, and shipped to Alabama for repair and reconditioning. They are then shipped to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. The Army vehicles travel 878 miles, and the Marine vehicles travel 1,047 miles. Why can't we do the repairs in North Carolina? How could Eastern North Carolina develop a program to offer these same services performed at area facilities? Set up a military logistics operational center. Develop locations within Eastern North Carolina for specialization by type of vehicle. Goldsboro has the intersection of rail lines and a rail yard for loading heavy units. Use the ports of Wilmington and Moorhead as receiving ports for vehicles from deployment. From these two ports, vehicles could be delivered to repair locations and then onto bases by rail, truck, or even driven. The vehicles are transported 165 miles, which is an 82% savings in miles traveled. Again, North Carolina has several advantages available for use by the military. Railroads that are operating under 50% capacity, highways that are utilized at 40% capacity, two ports that are operating at 30% of capacity and located near military bases. The Global Transpark is an excellent military asset. Now let's look at port improvements for cruise ships. Why? Well, jobs, jobs, and more jobs. Cruise ships bring thousands of tourists to our coastal cities, which is a huge impact on the local economy. So why should we implement Vision ENC 2030? Well, to complement and to protect our primary economic engine, our military bases. To ensure our region would survive a catastrophic military downsizing. To provide the economic opportunities for our families in Eastern North Carolina, and to provide the increased tax base, which will lower property taxes on individual property owners. Action items would include getting surrounding cities and counties to join Vision ENC 2030. Individual counties cannot do it alone. We must join together to obtain the funding for infrastructure improvements to bring the growth and jobs we all need. Getting legislative support to complete the rail from Castle Hayne to Wallace. Building bypass and rail north of the existing line in Moorhead. Finding ways to move up the improvements and construction of bypasses on US 70 to Moorhead. Obtaining funding to complete I-795 to I-40. Deciding on a location for an inland port, Goldsboro at the rail intersection or the Transpark. Creating and obtaining funding for the North Carolina Defense Logistics Initiative. Dredging the shipping channel to 50 feet in Moorhead to accommodate the larger ships. Or building and improving ports for cruise ship terminals. When do we start? We start today. Pledge your support to join Vision ENC 2030 for a brighter Eastern North Carolina.
And we're back. Wayne, that was fantastic, and I hope we'll continue to bring information about transportation changes that take place here in Eastern North Carolina.
I certainly hope so. We have so much to do.
Yes, we do.
We have so much to learn about it, and we have so much to gain from supporting this effort. And the commissioners are all behind this, and I really think that if you watch what's going on around you in Eastern North Carolina, especially here in Wayne County, we will all benefit from this effort, in this transportation effort in the eastern part of the state. So stay tuned for more on that. Coming up March 9th at the Wayne County Public Library, March 9th, it is Discover Tech. Engineers Make a World of Difference. This is a fascinating program. It's not only interesting to those who are interested in science, also interesting to anybody who has anything at all to do with anything. Whatever that means.
Interesting.
Okay, but anyway, it starts on March 9th, and you'll want to be at the Wayne County Public Library. It is an interesting program, and it's going to be there for a while. It's Discover Tech. Engineers Make a World of Difference. It's not only for engineers, it's for everyone. You'll find out how what seems to be simple things in your life are actually created, invented, discovered
all by engineers?
All by engineers, yeah.
Wonderful. Will you give us a trivia question, Mr. Wayne?
Ooh. Here we go.
What have we got?
Here you go. You're in the grocery store.
Okay.
All right. And along the grocery store shelf, you see a jar. It contains 1,218 of these. Kind of. 1,218.
You see a jar.
You see a jar.
And in that jar are that
1,218
of these.
These were used to make something.
These were used to make something.
On average.
Okay.
Well, it might be 1,219 or 1,217.
And it wouldn't be tomatoes to make tomato sauce, certainly. You wouldn't take that many, I wouldn't
No,
think.
it wouldn't take that many tomatoes.
No.
No. But and this is a very specific number, and actually manufacturers use this as a guide to go by to make this product.
Is this product edible?
Yeah.
Granules of salt?
Oh, that's good. 1,218, no. No.
Oh, well. We'll
1,218 of these make a favorite.
Make a favorite. Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
And you'll find it most of the time, on the grocery store shelf.
On the grocery store
It's
shelf.
a very specific number.
All right, Wayne. Well, let's go to United Way and to the Paramount, and let's see what Miss Lee Hulse has to tell us about a new program happening at the United Way.
Okay.
Joining me today is Lee Hulse, who is the project manager at United Way. She has a new program to tell us about, Bank on Wayne. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning, Kim.
Well, I'm excited to hear about this new program. I think it's going to be great.
We're very excited about it also.
Well, tell me what Bank on Wayne means.
Okay, Bank on Wayne is an initiative, a proactive initiative on the part of United Way to address financial stability in Wayne County. Our goal is to serve the unbanked and underbanked population of Wayne County and connect them with mainstream banking services as well as financial education.
Well, what does unbanked mean?
Unbanked is simply a person who does not have a checking or savings account. An underbanked person is someone who does have an account but does not use the services that it offers and still relies on alternative financial services to meet their financial needs.
So, do we have a lot of people in Wayne County that are not banked or either underbanked?
Unbanked population is about 10% or 4,000 households in Wayne County. Underbanked is 23% or about 10,000 households in Wayne County. That is higher than both the state and the national average.
Wow. Okay, so we have that many people in Wayne County that either don't have a banking account at all, or either have a bank account and don't know how to use it correctly, or don't use all the different tools that are there offered with it.
Exactly. And that's important because if you rely on alternative services to meet your needs, you don't have a safe place to keep your money.
Right.
You don't really have a great way to track your money. If you work for an employer that requires direct deposit, well, you're out of luck. There's no direct place to deposit your money.
Right, right.
And over the course of a lifetime, a person can spend as much as $40,000 cashing checks alone.
My goodness, I've never thought about it like that before.
Well, and when you think about it, $3 or $5 a check, it doesn't seem like very much money, but
Right.
it adds up very quickly.
So this program is all about educating us here in our county and in our city about how to be more financially stable.
Exactly,
correct?
exactly. The financial literacy education will come in to teach people how to make a budget, plan for the future, plan for emergencies, prioritizing their expenses so that they can meet their financial needs and hopefully save a little bit for the future.
When do you all plan to launch this program?
We have in the back of our minds that we'd like to have something in place by the early summer. That may or may not be realistic.
Right.
We're just still in the very early stages of planning this program.
Well, who all is involved in this? I know it's a collaborative effort, so who all
It
is
is very
involved?
much a collaborative effort. We have people from the who provide social services. Of course, we have representatives from the banking industry. We have representatives who are already delivering financial education in Wayne County, as well as just other volunteers from the community that are interested in what we're doing and have something to offer.
Well, Lee, tell me the overall question of why does this matter?
It matters because it's very hard to save and plan for the future or plan for an emergency if you don't have a safe way to keep your money and don't understand how to budget for that. You know, I think it's so easy if we have a paycheck or a benefits check and we go and cash it, and then you think you have cash and you don't really look at what your expenses are and what you need to live. You know, it's very hard to spend that and not to take care of the things that you need to.
Wow, so financial education is the whole goal of this particular program, or this initiative.
Yes, exactly.
We're looking to start the program sometime between the summer and the fall. And how would somebody get in touch with you all if they wanted to be a part of this?
All they need to do is contact the United Way office here in Goldsboro, and we will definitely connect them with the right committee. And we would love to have anyone's help.
So who is eligible?
For the program or to volunteer to help?
Either one.
For the program, obviously for the banking end of it, we're trying
Right.
to reach out to the unbanked and underbanked community. I think for the financial education component of it, many of us can benefit from that
Absolutely.
aspect of it, and it will be available. As far as volunteering, as I said, we would love to talk to anybody that's interested in this initiative.
Okay, so they can call United Way, go on your website and get the information if they
exactly.
choose, and or come in and see you all. They can walk right in and ask questions face to face, correct?
Oh yes, of course, we would love for them to do that, and the United Way offices are on the 3rd floor of the Wells Fargo building.
Perfect. Well, Lee, it sounds like this program is going to be an absolute asset to our community. I wish you all the best. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help you promote financial stability and the Bank on Wayne project and initiative. So we thank you for being with us today, and we hope you'll come back and tell us more details as the program gets closer to being initiated.
Well, we would love to be able to do that when we have a more concrete launch date and more details about this program going forward. And thank you very much for your time this morning.
Certainly, certainly. If you're interested in being a part of Bank on Wayne or volunteering, they need your help. You can contact them by calling United Way of Wayne County. We appreciate you listening, and this is what's happening in your community.
Thank you for joining us here on the set at the Paramount Theater. We are getting ready for a production coming up sponsored by Stage Struck, the Young People's Theater group here, a very strong group that's been going on for more than 20 years, and they are about to provide some wonderful entertainment for us from the musical Music Man. So I have a great cast, some of the cast here. There are about 70 more of them, but I'm really excited to be able to introduce you all to several of those that are here today and to hear about Music Man, a little bit about the local production and about what you can expect to see if you come and sit in this wonderful auditorium and see this great production. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I think if you don't mind, let's just go around real quickly and get names from everyone.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Baker.
I'm Casey Scarborough.
I'm Hannah West.
I'm Austin Mitchell.
Madeline Smith.
Daniel Troller.
And Scott John.
And Rachel Collier.
Wonderful, thank you all very much, and you were using your performing arts voices and vocals and sounded wonderful. Now tell me, I think maybe this would be a good question for you, Austin, but tell me about Music Man. What, if someone has never heard of it before and they don't know anything about it, what can they expect to see?
Well, it takes place 100 years in the past. That's one thing. It takes place in 1912 in a little city in Iowa called River City. And basically the character I play, Harold Hill, is a traveling salesman who, he's a con artist because he specializes in boys bands, and he doesn't know anything about music, and he comes to the little river city and he tries to sell his band to the citizens, and eventually they all start buying it except for the music teacher, who's also the librarian, named Marion, who Rachel plays. Of course, she's a music teacher, so she can see through me because she's educated, unlike most of the other people in the city.
And is this the love connection that happens?
Yes, this is the love connection, because I know that she's educated, so the only way I know that she won't foil me is if I establish a love connection.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And I won't spoil the ending, but chaos ensues and whatnot. And
very good.
it's fun.
Now, I'll have to say, I recognize many of your faces because many of you, if not all of you, have been performing with Stage Struck for a number of years. This is a wonderful group that works very hard. Your parents work very hard too, and do a phenomenal job. And it takes all of you because you do everything. This is a volunteer group, so many of you are working behind the scenes as well as on the stage. Many of you are doing stage managing, helping out with lights or the sets, designing costumes, singing. You do a little bit of everything. And we have lots of things that we can share with our viewers, and we will, but one of the things that I believe is so important with this organization is just the confidence that I believe that it gives to you as an individual, and just the family orientation that you all, I think, feel. It's very evident even just before we started taping, it's very evident that you all feel very much like a family, and that's a wonderful thing, you know, when you're a teenager outside of school, to be able to find that connection, and I think that all of you very much feel that you do. I'd like to hear from you how many years you've been participating with Stage Struck.
My first Stage Struck production was in 5th grade.
And you are in what grade now?
I'm in 12th grade.
12th, senior. Awesome, congratulations.
Mine was also the summer of my 5th grade, and I'm a senior now too. So.
Wonderful.
I started in 4th grade, so I'm a senior now too.
Yeah, first of all, we're all seniors.
Thank you for establishing that. And oh my gosh, I have heard some of the moms and dads talking about how many seniors there are this year. I didn't realize that there were so many. So you guys, and obviously hearing from you, I want to finish going around, but obviously you've kind of grown up together as well through all of these productions that you've shared in. And Austin, what was your first year participating?
Mine was when I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
And I started in 6th grade.
Mine was 10th grade, so it's only my 2nd year doing it, but I really do wish I had started earlier because, like you said, we all just one big family.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Daniel. I would have never known that you've only been with this group for a couple years because, again, you all just embrace each other, and I love that about it.
Mine was in 7th grade.
Okay.
Mine was in 8th grade.
Wonderful. And again, I can tell that you all have such a great time. Now, I do need to hear about what is your favorite piece. I mean, you all get to do lots of kind of fast-paced singing, running around, and then there's probably some slow-down periods and drama, but what is your favorite part?
Of this play?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
I've only got the song.
Probably my favorite song is probably The Sadder But Wiser Girl, which that's just this. It's just me and a junior who plays Marcellus. His name's Donald, but it's just us.
Oh, we know about Donald.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about Donald.
It's probably my favorite because I mean everything I do is fun, but I mean that's my, I guess it's my slowest and easiest, I guess you can say.
Good. Anybody else? Anybody else have any input on what maybe is your favorite?
My favorite is the kissing scene between me and Mary.
I wonder why that is.
Growing up, I've always, heard about the kissing scene and stuff, and I've always wanted to see how it's, insinuated on stage. And now that me and her actually get to do it, it's a lot harder than it looks to make it look realistic. But I think they do a pretty good job.
Yeah, and you guys, let's kind of talk a little bit about the leadership that you have. I know that, you often hear the initials RV around here. And tell us what you think about RV. Make it nice, and I know you will, but RV is the director of this production, isn't he? Does a phenomenal job, actually lives and works in Raleigh, but is very dedicated to this organization. So what are some of your experiences with RV? Because I say that because I know that he has probably helped guide you through that particular scene and many others, because sometimes the scenes are very difficult.
Don't mess with his cheddar bunnies.
Good to know.
Used to be
At first, he can be intimidating.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with the younger kids, when I first had him for my first production with him, I was so intimidated, and you have no idea at first, if he's being serious, or if he's joking, or if he likes what you did, or if he doesn't. But once you get to know him, and especially when you're in like a smaller group, and you have a smaller practice session, and it's not with the entire group where he's trying to manage 71 kids, but when it's a smaller group and he can focus on you, he's just like a friend to you, and he teaches you more in that session, and it's just a really close connection that you have with him.
Wonderful. He obviously guides you all through that, so what a wonderful blessing that you have. I know you have choreographers sometimes coming from New York. You guys have top-notch. You don't play around. You do a great job with those things. And I know your music director, Jim Grant, does a lot of work with you all as well. So you guys are very lucky to have such gifted direction and creating such gifted talent. Now, before I get too carried away, because Stage Struck is an organization that you can talk about for a long time, because they have done so much for so long. I do want to talk about the dates. February the 28th, which is a Friday, and then Saturday, March the
Thursday the 28th.
Oh,
Thursday the 28th.
thank you. Thursday the 28th, and then March the 1st and March the 2nd. Because you
the
all do so
3rd.
many.
And March 3rd.
And you guys do so many during that spring. That's why normally you kind of hear a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But this place is going to be full Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You do want to get your tickets early. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. all of those. And each production for weeknight or for the nights is 7 p.m. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And then on Sunday at 3. Now let's tell everyone where they can get their tickets.
Well, you can get your tickets in at the front of the Stage Struck building in the lobby of Stage Struck, which is just connected to the Paramount on the backside. Wednesdays and Thursdays from the hours of 9 to 5, and Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
I'm being signaled.
Sometimes that's what we need. Thank you all very much. So you can get your tickets for the 28th, March the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Get all that right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of wonderful opportunities to come for family entertainment. We're very excited about having Stage Struck back in here so that they can put on a wonderful musical production for you. I hope that you'll be here to see it. If you have any questions, feel free to call us at the Paramount Theater at 583-8432.
And we're back. I hope you learned a little bit from that interview. I know I certainly did. And, you know, back to Lee HULSE and United Way, the banking program that United Way is offering, I truly believe it's going to be a huge success in our community.
I
and
think
it's very needed.
Too. Yeah, I think it will too. It is needed. I can't understand how in this day when there's so much, when people receive their payment or their compensation for work, I was under the impression that most companies now
direct deposit?
Direct deposit their
well,
pay.
and they probably do, and I think most do, but there are quite a few that maybe don't work for companies.
Ah, okay.
So, you know, not large-scale companies anyway, so they may not be paid direct deposit.
I used to work for a tree, and I had to leave.
So funny, so funny, so funny.
Okay, okay. Well, I got caught out on a limb, you know, so I packed my trunk and left. Okay,
Goodness,
coming up.
goodness.
I know. Oh, here
All right,
it is.
tell us something else that's happening in our community.
Discover
Wayne.
Tech.
Teach us. Discover Tech. You told us that one time.
I did, didn't I? The Optimist Club. You know, we had Bill Edgerton.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and guys on last week from the Optimist Club. And they help children with computers, children that cannot otherwise afford
exactly right.
computers. And occasionally there's a nominal fee involved, but I'll tell you what, they have donated so many computers to children in need of computers. You know, in this day and time, kids go to school. And
it's hard to do any homework or anything
can't
without
do
it these days.
That's right, and sometimes it's actually required that you have a computer to do your homework.
Or have access to
Or
one.
at least have access to it. And the library is not open 24 hours a day. So youngsters have to have something at home or access to a computer, and the Optimist Club is helping out with that. And recently they have had some organizations or actually commercial companies, businesses, donate computers to the Optimist Club. They take them, clean them up, work on the hard drives, make sure there's nothing left in there, and get rid of any sort of possible virus, and just to make them work as best they possibly could work.
Well, do they take donations?
They do take donations.
There we go.
They do. So
if you're upgrading,
to a
different computer,
call Bill or call anybody at 920-8541, 920-8541, and say, look, I've got 100 computers I want to give you.
Just 100.
Okay, maybe one. I've got a computer. Okay, and not only computers, but they take monitors and keyboards and that, all peripherals, yeah, printers and everything else. So call those folks and make a donation. If not a computer, then perhaps monetarily you could help out.
And I'm sure they would take it.
They certainly would, and they do wonderful work.
Well, Wayne, Heritage Foundation, which is a foundation right here in Goldsboro with Dr. Chip Zwirling, is doing something really interesting. They are putting on a production or a benefit. It's called Animals of Wonderland, and it'll be at the Paramount Theater. And it is a fundraiser or a benefit for both the Humane Society and someone else.
The Humane Society and the Animal Shelter.
Animal Shelter,
yeah, the
exactly.
Animal Adoption and Education
That's
Center
exactly
at 1600 Cleveland Street.
That's where it is.
That's right.
They are doing a big production, and all proceeds will go to those two areas to benefit them and animals. for various reasons. They both have different needs.
Well, the Animal Adoption and Education Center, I believe they need runs out there.
Exactly, and if you don't know what that is an area where animals can go out, dogs especially, can go out and run back and forth and be free and not have to be on a leash.
Exercise. That's so important to dogs.
That's exactly right. And how about the other place?
The other place?
That is benefiting. What did they need?
Humane Society?
Yep.
They need everything. They need money. They need lots of help.
And I think they've got a particular program going on right now where they are helping people with food for their animals.
Yeah.
And that's what this particular benefit is going to do. It'll buy lots of food for dogs and cats for people, because that is a hardship sometimes whenever maybe you've lost your job or you know your economy is sort of tough right now on many of us, and feeding your animals may not be the top of your priority list. Feeding your family may be the top of your priority list.
And it should be.
Yes, so this is to help raise money so you can feed your animals as well.
Exactly.
But this is taking place on March 30th at the Paramount Theater, Animals of Wonderland, which was written actually by Dr. Chip Zwirling, and it is a take on Alice in Wonderland. The entire show is made up of community members that are volunteering their time to be a part of this, and most people are dressed up in some type of very unusual animal costume. Not everybody, but most.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's going to be music and acting and all kinds of fun things. The children will love it. Adults alike will love it. We got a little tiny taste of it at the 5th anniversary gala at the Paramount where they put on the show or the production of Thriller. And it was great. If you didn't see that, you don't want to miss it. March 30th at the Paramount Theater, Animals of Wonderland.
That's a Saturday of Easter weekend.
It is. It is. They'll have two shows, a 2 p.m. and then a 7 o'clock that evening.
Okay.
And you can get tickets at the Paramount Theater.
All right.
It'll be a fun evening.
All right.
Yes.
1,218.
Yes. What is it?
All right. This is used to make a favorite product in grocery stores. And it's in a 28-ounce jar on grocery store shelves, and it's called Jif peanut butter.
It takes that many peanuts?
Takes that many peanuts to make a jar of Jif
Should have guessed
peanut butter.
Should have guessed it.
Well, it was okay. Yeah.
I asked if it was edible. You said somewhat.
No, did I say somewhat?
I
should have said yes. But no, I know what it was.
What?
I said yes, but it was that somewhat look.
Oh, like, is that what it was? Okay. Kinda. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I said. I said kinda. It was a somewhat look.
Oh well, there we go.
There you go.
Well, that was an interesting trivia question today, Wayne Alley.
Well, thank you. We'll have one tomorrow as well.
Yes, we will.
Jif peanut butter. It takes 1,218 peanuts to make a 28-ounce jar.
And they use the exact amount in every single jar.
Yeah, Jif does, yeah. Now, some of the others may make a little more, use a little less, but that's what Jif uses.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that.
Peanut butter would have worked fine. That was the answer. Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. AARP.
Yes.
Tax volunteers will be at the Veterans Center on East Ash Street. That's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, now until April 10th. Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 9 o'clock until 5 o'clock. Taxes will be done on a first-come, first-served basis with seniors receiving priority. No appointments will be given. The AARP tax assistant will need your W-2s, your Form 1099s, and proof of Social Security income. So bring proof of any donation you may have made through the year. Vehicle taxes, home taxes, mortgage interest, and out-of-pocket medical expenses. Each taxpayer must bring a Social Security card and a photo ID. You got to bring your photo ID. Got to do it. Otherwise, they can't fill out your tax return for you. But that's now through April 10th, and that's at the Veterans Building at 2001D East Ash Street. That's right there at the Senior Center.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
That's it, right there. Okay, Tuesdays and Wednesdays only from 9 till 5. Okay?
Well, tell me where you think all this takes place, Wayne.
Houston.
Somewhere that you can do Zumba. You can feud with your family. You can
I'll tell you where that is.
Cheerleading classes. There's a fitness room. You can participate in Zumba, play a little bingo, work on the pottery wheel, line dance, dodgeball, shadfish.
I would have to say probably, and most likely, and it could be, maybe, maybe almost absolutely, could be maybe, it might be at the Parks and Recreation Department.
Yes, it is.
Do I win a prize?
You win a prize.
Woo!
That's just a few of the things that Parks and Recreation here in Goldsboro has for young and old alike. Many, many things
Thank
to do.
you.
You're so welcome.
You said young.
Young and old alike. Everything
Oh,
is, so
yeah.
many things, not everything, but so many things are offered right there. And if you go to their Facebook page or their website, you can find out more details on some of these things that are offered.
All
All right,
right.
Wayne Alley.
All right,
I
one more
believe-
real
you got
quick.
one
I got one more real quick.
All right.
Eileen Coit is the extension agent for the Cooperative Extension Service, and she reminds us that coming up on April 3rd and 4th, I believe it is, the big Junior Livestock Show and Sale
yes.
gets underway, and oh boy, that's a biggie. And right now, they've got the workshops going on, and there's 9 workshops, and we're about halfway through them. And if you want to participate in the Junior Livestock Show and Sale, you have to attend at least 2 of these workshops. So today's the 21st, and that means that the next one will be Saturday, day after tomorrow at the fairgrounds. And that will be the 3rd workshop, and there's a total of 9, so you still have time to get in on this. And if you want information about the Junior Livestock Show and Sale, you can talk to Eileen at the Cooperative Extension Service, office 731-1525, 731-1525.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
You can join us again tomorrow, 7 o'clock a.m. And what other times are we going to be on, Wayne?
Well, we run again. The show repeats middle of the day at noon, and then again at 5:30 in the afternoon, and then again during the evening hours. We'll also invite you to join us online on our YouTube account. You can go to waynegov.com and click on the YouTube link, or
GoldsboroNC.gov, and you can click on the WGTV link or the YouTube link, and it'll take you directly to these programs.
there you go. So until tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and WGTV is your hometown connection to news and information.